A very good afternoon to everyone. In fact, a very good evening, I would say. It is really lovely to see so many of you already joining in. We'll be starting our webinar at 4:30 sharp. We have a huge registration. We are waiting for the participants to come in. It is really, really wonderful to see all of you communicating in the chat box at a request to all of you from the entire team at Maharani Kasiswari College. Please keep yourselves muted at all times during the webinar. Keep your videos switched off for a better reception of the entire program. And if you really need to ask something, I'm sure you will after the interactive, fantastic session that our speaker is going to take. We would be really happy if you could just type in your questions in the chat box. Our teachers, our professors would be going through these questions continuously, and we would put forward the questions to our speaker, who would then address the questions according to the time available. So relax, sit back and relax and have a wonderful experience.
অভিষেক অভিষেক
হ্যাঁ স্যার, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ, এসি ম্যামকে কো-হোস্ট করে দাও।
করে দিয়েছি।
আর আমাদের অনুপম স্যার জয়েন করে গেছেন।
অনুপম স্যারকেও করা আছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ স্যার, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। তন্ময়দাকে কো-হোস্ট করো, তন্ময়দা কিছু বলছে, তন্ময়দাকে আনমিউট করো। তন্ময়দাকে কো-হোস্ট করো।
হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ তন্ময়দা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
শুনতে পাচ্ছ তো? ব্যাস,
একদম
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। হ্যাঁ, এইভাবে বল, ঠিক আছে তো? এইভাবে বললে হবে তো? ঠিক,
একদম ক্লিয়ার, একদম
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। ওকে ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
অনিন্দিতা ম্যাডামকে করো কো-হোস্ট।
তন্ময়, তন্ময়
কি হয়েছে?
শোনা যাচ্ছে তো? হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে।
তোমার সাউন্ডটা একটু কম আসছে।
ধরো, সাউন্ডটা বাড়াচ্ছি। সাউন্ডটা কমানোই আছে।
সাউন্ডটা একটু বাড়াও সুইচদা।
বাড়ালাম তো।
হ্যাঁ, এবার ঠিক আছে, এবার ঠিক আছে।
ঠিক আছে তো?
হ্যাঁ, আমরা একটু স্যারের স্লাইডটা একটুখানি চেক করে নিই।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, স্যার এসেছেন?
হ্যাঁ, স্যার জয়েন করে গেছেন।
আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, চেক করো চেক করো।
স্যার একটু আপনার এই অভিষেক এনাবেল শেয়ারিং করো।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আমি স্লাইডটা শেয়ার করছি, একবার করে নেব।
বলছি যে আমরা যে কথাগুলো স্যার এসে
অনিন্দিতা দিকে করা নেই গো, কো-হোস্ট করা নেই কেন?
অনিন্দিতা ম্যামকে করা তো।
ওই
অনিন্দিতা ম্যাম বেরিয়ে গেছেন, তাই জন্য হয়েছে। অনিন্দিতা ম্যাম বেরিয়ে গিয়ে আবার এসেছেন।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, দেখেছি দেখেছি, ম্যাম বেরিয়ে গেছিলেন।
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে, ওকে।
A very, very good afternoon to everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to see so many of you already with us and so many joining in. We already have our speaker, the respected Dr. Anupam Ghosh, with us. So we informally welcome you now. Obviously, there'll be a formal round of welcoming, but it is really an honor to have you with us. We are waiting for our participants. We'll start sharp at 4:30. Just a few reminders. I request all of you to please keep yourselves muted at all times during the webinar. Keep your videos switched off for a better reception. If you have any questions, any queries, please type it out in the chat box that's there. I'm sure you can see it in the scroll down below in your screen or your phones. You can write the questions there. Our teachers, our professors.
Is this visible? The
yes,
slide
it is
visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Just check.
Yes, it is visible.
So I'm going to change my slide one by one. I'm going to change my slide one by one. So
yes, sir, it is visible, but it has not changed though. Yes, it is changing.
Is it changing?
Yes, sir.
It's changing,
absolutely.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, coming back to what I was saying, I'm quite confident that the webinar today is on such a topic that you are all going to enjoy it immensely. So to increase to that enjoyment, please keep your videos switched off, your phones or laptops on mute mode, so that you can have a fantastic reception, uninterrupted reception of the entire webinar. If you have any questions, the chat box is open. We are streaming live. Just to give a brief update on the webinar, we have more than 1,500 registrations, a swooping registration for any webinar, I'm sure. So we are waiting for the participants to come in. Just a few more minutes before we begin. Thank you. Very good evening to everyone. We are just 10 minutes away from the beginning of our program. Artificial intelligence exists, healthcare business sustains. A webinar of prime importance, of prime relevance in today's day. We already have a huge number of participants, both on the Zoom platform as well as in the YouTube live streaming. We are waiting for all of them to join in. We have a huge registration of more than 1,500 from all over the world, literally all over the world. So just 9 more minutes to go before we begin the program. It's sharp. It's about to begin sharp at 4:30 p.m. A very good evening to everyone. We will begin in another 7 minutes' time. During that time, I would just take a moment to remind you all to keep yourselves muted and your videos switched off so that you get a fantastic reception of the entire webinar without any interruptions. If you have any questions, please type it out in the chat box. Our coordinators will pass on the questions to our speaker, who is already here with us, Dr. Anupam Ghosh. We are all waiting eagerly to listen to him. It's a fantastic topic. Hope you all will have a very good experience with our team of Maharani Kasiswari College. The college has already organized a number of webinars, all through in different subjects, starting from food and nutrition, obviously commerce. There has been webinars on education. The IQAC has organized several webinars as well. The Department of Political Science, Sanskrit, and many more are already lined up. So we are obviously hoping that you would join us again and again for each of these webinars. We have a huge registration even for this webinar. Over 1,500 participants from all over the world. And your kind participation, your kind support always has given us encouragement to organize more and more programs, and we will be doing so in the future. We are just waiting 5 more minutes to go. Yes, like a countdown before we begin the webinar. A very good evening. We can see our principal madam as well, our speaker, Dr. Anupam Ghosh, who is there with us. It's really an honor and a pleasure. We have our participants, of course, the most important part of any webinar, I'm sure. And we are just 3 minutes away from the beginning of our webinar. We are about to begin. Just another humble reminder from the entire team of Maharani Kasiswari College. Please keep yourselves muted at all times during the webinar. Please keep your videos also switched off. We request you to do so because this will give you an uninterrupted experience of the entire webinar. And if you have any questions, any queries whatsoever, you can use the chat box that you can see on your screen. And our coordinators will definitely put forward your question to the speaker, obviously according to the time that is there. But I'm sure your questions would be answered. And I think we are just 1 minute away. We are streaming live on YouTube, as we always do, for all our webinars. There are so many more people joining there and so many of you here with us today on the Zoom platform. It is indeed a pleasure to be able to see so many of you and have so many of you with us today. I request the host to please mute the participants who are coming in, please.
I would request Dr. Anindita Rajapravarti to start the session. To start, please start the webinar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shudipto Ghosh. Namaste and a very, very good evening to all of you. It is always a pleasure to be able to organize a webinar of this proportion. This is a webinar on artificial intelligence exists, healthcare business sustains. What a fantastic topic, relevant, yes, obviously relevant in the present situation more so. So a very warm welcome to all of you, all the participants. And we are really, really honored to have all of you with us here on the Zoom platform, as well as streaming live on YouTube as well. Many have joined in there too. We have participants from all over the world, literally all over the world, from as far north of India, obviously, in Jammu and Kashmir, East Manipur, the southern states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, the western states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, obviously Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and many more states have joined in. So many people from Delhi as well. We are also very proud to have with us our friends from the neighboring countries of Bangladesh, Pakistan, the Gulf, several countries, several people from the Gulf countries have joined in. Abu Dhabi is there. So we are extremely enriched and we're extremely happy to have all of you with us. Imagine a world where robots, without any mistake, are conducting surgeries, perfect to the core. Think about what if your genetic codes have been known so that there is no mistake in understanding what medicines or what healthcare you need. This is what artificial intelligence is all about, my dear friends. But I am not the person who's going to talk about it. We have with us a very, very well-renowned and a learned person, Dr. Anupam Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, Ranchi, Jharkhand. So we are immensely happy to have you with us. We are very proud and it's an honor really to be able to hear your discussions on artificial intelligence, what it is today, what it is going to be in the future, and how it is going to help the healthcare facilities. So without any further delay, and just a reminder to all the participants, since our speaker is from Ranchi, a little distant away, far away place, and the weather is not very conducive today, so there might be a little bit of a network problem, as he has already informed us. Please do not worry. We are there to help you all through. The technical team is working round the clock. And if there is any problem, if he's just, God forbid, if he's disconnected for a little while, we will take care. And please do not leave the meeting. he will join back. So without any further delay, I request Dr. Sudipta Ghosh, the head of the Department of Commerce, and the joint convener of the research cell, because these are the two units which are organizing this webinar, to take over from me. Sudipta, over to you for the proceedings.
Thank you, Dr. Anindita Rai Chakraborty, Assistant Professor, Department of Food and Nutrition, and Joint Convener of Seminar and Study Circle Committee of Maharani Kasiswari College. Now, respected chairperson of this national level webinar and the principal of this college, Dr. Shima Chakraborty, respected resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Anupam Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Management, Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, Ranchi, India, respected faculty members and office staff of my college, and respected dear participants, a very good afternoon to all of you. I do welcome everybody in this webinar on behalf of Department of Commerce and Research Cell of Maharani Kasiswari College. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to hear my voice in front of this august gathering through web connection and welcome you. In this webinar, two important aspects are to be addressed by the resource person. They are artificial intelligence and healthcare. AI will be more relevant in post-COVID era. So please be with us and enjoy the webinar. So once again, I do welcome all of you. Now over to our principal ma'am, Dr. Shima Chakraborty. Madam will formally inaugurate the webinar. Madam, over to you.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes.
you are audible.
Yes. Good evening to everybody, the audience, our respected speaker today, Dr. Anupam Ghosh. He is from BIT Mesra in the Department of Business Management, and everybody has gone through the introduction about him, that he is not only teaching for about 10 years there, he is doing a lot of research, and he has got publications in national and international journals. We are extremely happy to have Dr. Anupam Ghosh with us this evening to talk about mainly the artificial intelligence as far as business and commerce. In that subject, I was going through, it is a new thing for me at least, that is studying the people. The people concerned with commercial transactions. In that area also, the artificial intelligence is being used these days, and he will talk about this elaborately. Actually, this artificial intelligence, it started the day when computer started, actually, and then robot came. In computer, mainly from 60s it started, and the memory part of our brain is extensively used. And human brain, we all know that is a surprising matter. The gray matter in our brain is there, and it has infinite memory actually. But the problem in human brain is that we cannot pick whatever we need or whatever we like to pick up from our brain at any instant. But in computer, what happens? It understands the machine language, various languages starting from Fortran, Basic, and these days it is C++ mainly. That is a translation to machine understandable language from a human language, and that language guides the computer from which part of its memory or its knowledge about dealing with calculations, simulations, big mathematics, not possible by doing analytically. We have to go for simulation for such problems to solve. And without computer, it could never have been solved. We all know that there are so big mathematics that computers are solving. In this talk, actually, I just remembered one of my senior researchers long back in early 90s. He was doing actually analytical work and not much habituated to use computers, and he asked me about some program running, what to do. And just from the other table, I said him, you say the computer something. And after 10 minutes, he came back and told me, no, I said, but it didn't work. So I went in front of the computer and did it through the keyboard, and it worked. Then that senior researcher said me that you didn't tell me that it is to be told to the computer through the keyboard. So I was just uttering those words what you had guided me. And we it was very much amusing that he thought that he will just say and computer will do that work, do that sum. But actually now I should feel that that fellow was thinking quite advanced, because these days, no, there are machines, actually computers, where we just stand in front of it and say something, and it can do, it can follow whatever I want to tell it to do. And we all know that nowadays even medical works, medical research is combined with this artificial intelligence, and for such disease where the doctors are not always available, or it is not always good to come in touch to the patient, then there are machines in front of that. If the patient is there, then the patient can study everything. Now the machine can study everything, all problems in the many problems, whatever the machine is is there to do, it can do. Now it can actually recognize a person from its photograph, from its image. Even in court, as we see that for registration of some property in court, the registry officer actually takes our photograph and also photograph of our fingerprint, so that in future, if there is any problem with that property, then the office will be able to recognize whether the person may be claiming that property is actually the actual person or not. So everywhere this artificial intelligence is coming, and now we know that we don't have to sound any song or whatever we like by typing in Google search. We just speak, say, Bade Gulam Ali Kha. I speak, and with certainly the speaker on, then the mobile starts playing Khyal Tumdi Sab Bade Gulam Ali Khan. Like this, so, research with this artificial intelligence has got enormous progress, and it can feel now just like a human being. It started actually only with working with the memory part of our brain, but now It is actually working just like a human being, and it will become very much efficient in thinking like a human being, and it is the most important part aspect of research in in all fields of science and even arts. Why not? Because it can translate now from one language to another if the machine knows the two languages that we know, and we are seeing it, we are observing it during our everyday using our network. So I must thank our organizers and the Department of Commerce, all the teachers, and also the webinar committee, the seminar committee, for selecting such a nice topic, such an important topic for today. And I hope all of us, our students and other participants, and also our teachers, we will enjoy a lot with thanks to Dr. Anupam Ghosh. I think we should go to him.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your wonderful speech. Now, in order to start our webinar, it is important to say few lines about the theme of the webinar. Our webinar is on artificial intelligence and its application in healthcare. AI, or artificial intelligence, is a buzzword in today's world. But to find the root of AI, we have to go back 70 years ago. In 1950, Alan Turing, an eminent English philosopher, computer scientist, mathematician, and cryptanalyst, put a question in a paper. It was, I propose to consider the question, can machines think? This philosophical approach can be considered as the starting point of artificial intelligence. We can consider various examples in our daily life where AI has been applied. Few of them are smartphones, including smart assistants like Google Assistant, Alexa, Siri, smart cars, drones, navigation and travel, banking and finance, security and surveillance, and obviously healthcare. Now, AI has an important role to play in the healthcare. With the introduction of AI-powered machines, it has become a bit easier to detect disease and diagnosis. Radiology, pathology, speech, and text recognition are few areas where AI will dominate in near future. The application of AI in healthcare business is becoming more relevant in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. In this national webinar, the Honorable Resource Person will enlighten us through his valuable speech on AI and its effectiveness for achieving sustainability with special reference to healthcare business. Now, may I request Srimati Lipika Das Nondi, Bursar of our college and Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to give an introduction of our Honorable Resource Person. So over to Lipika Madam, and please provide a brief introduction about our Honorable and respected Resource Person, sir.
Hello, good evening to all. Dr. Anupam Ghosh received PhD from IIT Kharagpur and has been doing in-depth research in the domains of sustainable business, artificial intelligence, corporate social responsibility, e-marketing, consumer behavior, entrepreneurship, rural development, and product life cycle analysis. He has about 15 years of research experience and published many international, national articles in such areas. Also guided 5 PhD scholars with 51 MBA dissertations. Apart from serving as an assistant professor for almost a decade at Department of Management, Birla Institute of Technology, Misra. He is also a visiting faculty at IIM Ranchi. He is the recipient of many awards and recognitions such as Amity Excellence Award for Best Academic Author in the area of Sustainable Business 2020, Rashtriya Gaurav Award by an international NGO. His articles are selected and archived in NITI Aayog, Government of India, and in National Digital Library of India. He also stood fast as the best scholar in humanities and social sciences at IIT Kharagpur for the year 2009 to 2010. He is the editor and reviewer of many reputed international publication houses such as Emerald, Science, McGraw-Hill, and others. At present, he is the secretary of the IIT Alumni Association, Ranchi, Jharkhand chapter. Very recently, he has diversified his research in the domain of infectious disease management and has written and published extensively on COVID-19 management at international level. In this global corona crisis, he is basically trying to work on the convergence of society, business, infectious disease for better solutions and management and sustainability of the society at large. Now, I am requesting the Dr. Anupam Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Birla Institute of Technology, Mitra, Ranchi, Jharkhand, to deliver his lecture on the topic Artificial Intelligence Exists, Healthcare, Business, Sustains. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lipika madam. Am I audible
Yes,
and
sir.
visible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes.
Yes, sir, visible and audible.
Thank you. So thank you so much to madam. Thank you so much to Sudipta sir. Thank you so much to principal madam. I am really elated and very happy when Sudipta sir told me about this this webinar. And to be very candid, I like to say that I was a bit taken aback when he talked about artificial intelligence, and because I have seen many discussions at the IIT level and ISA Bangalore and NIT level. These colleges, they generally talk about AI, and when I see our homegrown college in West Bengal talking about AI, then I'm really happy that the way the department has thought, and congrats to sir and the faculty and the principal, that they have been very futuristic. I'm very happy. Though I am not that technical person from AI, but what I'll try to say today is where AI should be involved and where AI is already involved, and where is the dimension of research for AI, and with the context of our present economics, the sustainability factors, and with reference to the healthcare sector. So this is my domain. So before I start, I thank the fraternity, I thank the participants and all of whom are there, and let me start this. So before I start my slide, because I have a slide with me that I will do, but because we are teachers, so I'll keep my lecture within the time frame as what said by sir, because we tend to go across the time, right? So basically my topic is I'm talking about the effectiveness of artificial intelligence for sustainability with special reference to healthcare business. Okay. Now, the question is, why do we need artificial intelligence? I know that there are people who are from computer science background who know well, but as a student of social sciences and management, our approach is very much different. As we know that, artificial intelligence basically tries to replicate what a normal human would try to reason and think about. So in business, normal business, there are many applications of artificial intelligence. So from now I'll tell the abbreviation AI. So AI has a lot of applications here. Now, why AI now? Why do we need AI now? AI is already there. So why there is the question of business sustainability and what is sustainability? So before we go into these things, we have to understand the context of the justification why AI is absolutely needed, not only now, but for the whole future which is coming. Now, let me start my slide. Then maybe I'll able to. Okay. Sir, is it visible, my slide?
Yes, sir, it is absolutely perfect.
Okay, fine. Now, before we go into the details of this thing, we have to understand that the topic name which I suggest is the effectiveness of AI for sustainability with reference to healthcare business. Now, the question is why the need for AI has come now. People have talked, I don't know, let me inform you that across the country, people are very much talking about AI and their applications. And that's why this is very, very contemporary. Now we have to understand why AI. Now AI is basically trying to replicate. AI is trying to, I won't say replace, there are ethical questions of AI, whether AI is needed, whether AI is really understandable, whether they might take away our jobs. So these questions are always there. These are ethical questions and also economic questions, definitely. But during this period of COVID, we have seen a lot of changes, and the changes are basically socio-economic, cultural kind of a change. And this change are, why economic change? Because economic change, because the basic tenet of economics, which is the study of scarcity. So there has broken down. Then there are other stakeholder orientation have changed. So these are the things which has happened basically in this era, and how we need to cope up, we still do not know. So when we talk about this present, so my topic is basically talking about three things. First is, the first is how a business runs, how economics have changed from the last, December, January, February 2020, then 4 or 5 months of lockdown, and now we are into this unlock 3. So things, how we do business have really changed. And if the change is there, what kind of change has taken place and what kind of change we can offer the market. So first is the economic change. Second, what I'll talk about is the question of artificial intelligence and its applications into normal business, where healthcare business, which part of healthcare business AI really matters. So I will not go and talk about neural networks, because that's not my domain. I will talk about where the application is happening, and you would be surprised to know I have a lot of examples here, various ways the AI has been taken. And the last part of my lecture will be how AI will be integrated to business to make that business sustainable. Okay, so first we talk about the business problems which are there visible in our domain in the COVID era. Second, we will talk about how AI is applied to business and how the things and how they are very profitable and using convenient methods, cheaper methods, perfect methods to do work. And the last part is how we would try to integrate AI into business so that it becomes sustainable in nature. Okay, so let me start my slide, and I would be. So let's talk about the first thing. So yes, so we have to understand, as because this is a Department of Commerce, we have to understand where the changes have come about and why we need to understand sustainability in a different kind, which is not the sustainability that we know. Business students, business teachers, and others who know about sustainability. So the concept of sustainability have changed across the world. When we look at articles and journals now, which is published now in the last 5 months, the concept of sustainability have changed. That I want to tell you here in my lecture. Now, what's that? So let's talk about normal business. Normal business, like a doctor, like a physician, who checks your basic parameters like blood pressure, blood sugar, and all those things, and understands how you are. So we are business people, we are social scientists. We understand, we see a business startup, a company, and we check certain things and we say whether the business is really working fine or there is a problem which might happen, or which might come later, and which might cause a bigger problem, so that business might shut down. So here the problems which we should know are the problems of scarcity, the problems of the anomalies in the supply chain, the demand side anomaly, the supply side anomalies, and the disequilibrium. The problems of product life cycle, if you know product life cycle, the problems of stakeholder orientation, your environment, and so on. So how this is taken care of. Now in this COVID was, so let's start up with the slide. So other things I'll tell you. So I have randomly, I picked up some information for you, right? So random information. So like these are information from the National Gazette and all those things. So they talk about how there are, now these are challenges, these are the output, what has happened and how it has happened, then we'll talk about. So India's growth rate and has gone down to 3.1% according to Ministry of Statistics. And there is a pre-pandemic slowdown. India was already going through a pre-pandemic slowdown, and this has created a different era of depression. Now there is now the experts are saying that the economy has gone back to the 90s. India's economy has gone back to the 90s. So the problems which were there in the 1990s, so we have gone back to that era. These are what the management gurus and management leaders are saying. Now the unemployment rate. So these are the data. So this is nothing. So these are the output. What has happened already? So there are other things like during the lockdown there's a loss of employment. We know that, right? So these are the output. Now let's come to the next slide. Now we talk about how the economy can rise again. Now there's another question of when the vaccines will come. I think you are quite aware that India has tried to bring up a vaccine, the Covaxin, so it's under the trial stage. India has talked about other vaccines which they can bring from the UK, from the Oxford University by the Serum Institute, Pune. Now we have talked about this, okay, but the problem here is that we have talked about, so when we talk about economic challenges, we have to talk about the lockdown period. The lockdown periods are those periods which had happened now, and these periods have become a kind of a given a kind of a pause button to the growth of infection and the growth of the rising rate of death. But the problem still remained. The problem still is present till now, though there is no lockdown now, right? So what was the psychology behind that? What was the idea behind the lockdown? The idea of lockdown is to buy time, That's why it's a kind of a, that's why we have talked about hammer and dance curve of infection. This is a very important curve of infections. So as we are talking about healthcare business, we have to understand that what is this hammer and dance curve? Hammer and dance curve is basically a kind of lockdown pattern. It has been published, I think in the social media you have seen, there are two, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 kind of lockdowns. And these lockdowns were basically economic lockdowns. And how these lockdowns would have changed the infection curve. So this hammer and dance curve means that if the curve is like this, the curve needs to be flattened. So there's a flattened curve. Say they want to hammer the curve. Hammer means they are trying to flatten the curve. When we are trying to extend that curve, that means that we are trying to buy time. We are trying to wait for the vaccine. And when so why it's relevant now? Because who is going to produce the vaccine? The vaccine is produced by the pharma companies, by the healthcare companies. So they need to get time. So I would say, with the absence of vaccine, lockdowns somewhat gave us time. I won't say it's good or bad. I would say that it has given us time to the healthcare business, to the pharma business, and so that at a different level. So the curve was like this. The curve was flattened like this, and there's another short rise of curve. So the bigger curve is coming down to a smaller curve and smaller curve. It means that at various levels of points of time, there are interventions of drugs. So vaccines can wait. We can wait for vaccines, but there are intervention of drugs. See, if I am not right, then we talk about remdesivir. Remdesivir is an antiviral drug, but it's not a vaccine. So the pharma business, healthcare business has been helped by this kind of a economic lockdown or a governmental lockdown, right? So this is one side of economic challenges. Other side is there are economic recovery curves. If those who are from economics, they will know there are economic recovery curves. So this is this x-axis is the time and y-axis is mainly the GDP. So I won't go into the details, but you see the curve. So if we talk about, the economists are saying that this is called V curve, this is called the U curve, this is called the W curve, this is called the L curve, this is called the swast or tick curve. These are the curves where the economists talk in the welfare economics subject, where they find the different kinds of patterns, how the economy can recover. Our economy has gone down to the 90s. We need to gear back. So economic is a problem. So the point here is that they have suggested that economic reversal economic recovery can be happening by the W curve, the L curve, and the tick curve. So the W curve is what? This is the W curve. So, V-shaped curve of recovery in economics cannot happen because there is no specific vaccine or drug which is effective. If there had been a drugs, then the recovery would have been very fine. So there's not a point. U-shaped curve means that, second one, U-shaped curve means that yes, there is always a drug which is helpful, but we have seen a lot of deaths due to COVID. And so the healthcare business is not up to that mark to give them the right medicine and the right drugs to fight the virus. Now, what is this one? W-shaped curve. So here, the economists are saying that maybe the recovery can be, economic recovery means what? It means that the recovery of the whole market, it can be pharma market, manufacturing market, service sector, anything. So the economics is there. That's why, and why healthcare business is important, because healthcare business has taken the forefront in bringing the solution of this recovery problem and the solution of this economic challenges. Healthcare business definitely is very important. So here the business W is where the economic has gone down. There has been some kind of a drug. Economy has recovered. Then there is maybe the drug is not working. It is coming down. Again, you go for another drug. So, see, for example, we talked about hydroxychloroquine. Now, there has been a, mixed view. WHO says that it will not help. ICMR India says that it will help. So there's a dichotomy, problem of clash of ideas. So this will happen. This will happen because some medicines will work. Even HIV, antiviral drugs were used. So hence it might come down. The recovery might come down again when the new remdesivir has come. Again it will come down. So it's a W-shaped curve. The whole economy is either a W-shaped or L-shaped curve. Means the fourth one means that more time is needed for the economy to recover because nothing has changed, right? So the W curve, the L curve, or the Swiss curve is when the last one, when we have the vaccine, when the healthcare sector has given up the vaccine, when they have done the research and that research has given the results, and the results, hopefully the UK vaccine will work according to the Serum Institute Pune, or our own homegrown vaccine will work. That is the Covaxin. So these are the scenario where what I want to say is that why is healthcare sector has become so much of priority. Healthcare sector has become priority because healthcare sector is leading the way of how things have to be managed. Okay. So we talk about interventions. Interventions of what type? Now, interventions, how do we plan? So why I'm talking about COVID? Because I think people have heard too much of COVID. Okay, in various webinars. Why? Because just to make the point that why healthcare sector has suddenly become so much of importance. Okay, healthcare sector, including pharma sector, including biotech sector, has become so much importance because these are the people who will help us to recover from this disease. So how do we plan for post-COVID-19? That's a big question. What's the time frame? That's also a big question. And how we should strategize the whole thing. That's obviously the present and the future questions that is there. Okay. Now, this whole thing, now we have to understand that healthcare sector is a business. Healthcare sector is a summation of small sectors. So it's an industry. So individual healthcare company, pharma company, biotech company, startups, everybody, they are having their own problems. And these problems need to be addressed. We have to understand what are the problems that they are facing. Before we come to AI, AI will not come just like that. Okay, and sustainability will not come just by that. We have to understand the basic functioning, the machinery, how it works. So, we talked about shortage of, due to this lockdown, money flow is stopped, and those who have known the elementary thing of circular money flow. So these have been stopped. Experienced people have, have tried to take away jobs. So there's a problem of jobs. So those who are in job, so let me tell them that be very careful. There are many people, experienced people who have gone out of job, and these people are known as gig economy. Gig economy means those people who are highly experienced and they are working at different projects at one particular point of time. So across the world, this gig economy and the gig experts have become a very big challenge for those who are working. So if I am employed somewhere, I have to be 10 times more aware that maybe there's somebody who might be better than me. Okay, so whether it's in service sector or any other sector, you have to be aware, because the basic output is to create value. So yes, so now we talk about the basic things of management in a healthcare business or any other business. So we have the need, and so we have studied. So for those who are students here, so I would address them that we have talked about what is need and want and demand. That is the basic tenets of your management and economics. But the problem is that, let me be very practical. You have the money. Now Tanishq has called me yesterday. They have said, sir, there is no problem. You come to our place and we have the best of facilities. We'll sanitize your shoes. We'll sanitize the chair that you sit. We are all COVID tested negative. But the problem is that still I don't want to go. Why? Because I have the money, I have the ability to pay, but according to the economic model, I am not buying. So there is no demand in the market. So it's an artificial creation of no demand. So I have the money, but there is no demand creation, and that is the unfortunate nature. I am a customer. Maybe my wife and child is saying that, come on, let's go and shopping and all, but I am hesitant. So the problem here is that the business, any business, needs to create that amount or that level of confidence that I am safe, I won't spread infection to you and to your family. Please come. That's why I think, those who are studying, if you just see the advertisements nowadays, you see Asian Paints and many other things. They talk about, they'll come to your house, they'll paint and they're fully geared and they're fully having the mask and this plastic shield. So they have everything and they said, you don't worry, we'll take care of everything. So this is a kind of, so the advertisements have changed. That's very, very important. Okay, now let's talk about, so stakeholder orientation. People who are around you are changing. Stockholder depletion, people are not going to invest. So there's a complete, not only lockdown of our movements, but also a slowdown of the economy. Okay, now I'll come back to entrepreneurship a bit later. This is not, so maybe when I end the session, I'll come back to this. So let's talk about the supply chain, value chain, whatever you say. So, if you have the supply side, and here is this is the very generic, simple supply chain. Okay, so you have the raw materials that's going for production and finished or finished products and marketing, logistics and end client. So you have the demand side and supply side. So there is an imbalance of demand and supply side. There is an imbalance, and this imbalance is there, and that's why. And who is going to come and save you? The confidence, the drugs, the vaccine will come and save and tell you that no, we have to cope up with this. So if you have a demand side, so if I'm not going to Tanishq, then Tanishq should understand what is the problem. The problem is that I don't want to go because I am very aware that I might get affected by this virus. So either they have to change strategy, either they have to move on with their car and go door to door, or they have to come with some samples and come to my home and sell it out here. So they have not done anything yet, but they have to do it because you have to get accustomed to what it is there. Okay. Now, there are interventions. Interventions, and I was talking with Ajay Chaudhary last 15 days back. He's a Padma Bhushan and co-founder of HCL company. He's a very big shot person. And he told me that, he told me, Anupam, there are many different types of problems. And he was very correct. Shortage of money, profit issue, cash flows, and there are lots of problems which are there, which needs to be addressed. But he said that the hygiene needs of stakeholders has to be taken care of. So these are the words of a stalwart who is a Padma Bhushan. He's saying that the buzzword of any business, you talk about healthcare and anything, has to be the hygiene needs of your own employees and of all the stakeholders that you're going to sell the market. So this is the first thing. Second is that, so here, health, somehow we have to understand that hygiene is also have become a part of the sustainability domain. So now when I talk about, in my introduction, someone said that I'm working in the infectious disease management. Yes, definitely. When you talk about infectious disease management, you have to understand that hygiene needs have become the priority. Why? Not only now, but for the next 10, 15 years or more, you have to understand that this has become, so the sustainability framework has changed. Sustainability means what? It is the triple bottom line. I'll tell you later. Okay. Now there are other interventions. We are talking about work from home. We are talking about working from anywhere. So now we are, as teachers, you would know that we were told that we should work from home. Now the authorities have said that you can work from anywhere. You can come to the college, you can come to the department, you come to the chamber, you work from there anywhere you want, but you have to be online. So you have to be present online. So what's the problem? The problem is that the strategies are changed. So for AI to come in, you have to understand that there should be a need to understand the hygiene. So AI should be focused on hygiene. AI should be focused on the quality of work. AI should be focused on how things has to be strategized into the operations of a business. For example, this one, we talk about empathy, that's EQ, emotional quotient. You talk about CI, cultural intelligence, CQ. This CQ is a concept which has been discussed many times in the Harvard Business Review in 2010. That a company, I am Pfizer. Suppose I am Pfizer company. Okay, I work in many countries. I'm a multinational company. I'm an MNC. So how am I going to adjust here? So my drugs, my packaging, everything has to be India-centric and customized, right? Now let me come to, these are some reports that you just have a glance through it. These are the reports they talk, this is an HBR, Harvard Business Review report, and they talk about how they're trying to relock the whole thing and how empathy and stability and authenticity and self-esteem have become much important in a company. So that's about the business, whatever business you do. Okay. Now, McKinsey, you know why I took all these things? Because I want to tell you that internationally, many people are working from Harvard to McKinsey's to Stanford to MIT to IITs to ISC Bangalore. Everyone is working on this, and they have got different solutions, and every solution is correct. Why? Because in business, you know, I think the students I am saying, your teachers might have said that in business, if you're logical enough, every answer is possible. So we have to understand that McKinsey is saying something, and they're talking. Still, McKinsey have talked about the resolve to resilience to reimagination. So McKinsey is saying that, come on, let's forget about everything. We have to talk about something new. Okay, let's talk about the drugs. So why drugs? Why drugs? Why not vaccines? So vaccines, because the pharma company knew that vaccines will take some time. Let's talk about the drugs. So that let the patient have a lesser amount of viral load if they take a remdesivir. Okay, let's wait for the vaccine, but we need to rethink about it. So, okay. Am I audible, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are perfectly audible.
Okay.
And your slide presentation is also okay. No problem, sir. Please continue.
Thank you. Okay. Now Deloitte has talked about, you know, the same thing that we talked about, you know, about the U-shaped curve and this how they can recover. So this is just a repetition of it. So I won't do that. Now we think about artificial intelligence. Now, so I've just picked up one definition, but let's understand it. So AI describes a range of techniques that allows computers to perform tasks typically thought to require human reasonings and problem solving. Okay, there's another version of AI is the artificial neural networks, and they are a common type of machine learning. I'm just reading this. Okay. Of machine learning inspired by the way an animal brain works. They progressively improve their ability at a particular task by considering examples. Now here is the catch. Now here is where healthcare sector has come in. Why? Because now look at this. Look at this. First of all, AI is something which, you know, are techniques, algorithms, and other things which help the computers to think similar to what human reasonings think. It is also a kind of a machine learning, type of machine learning, where progressively they learn more by considering more examples. Now where our medicine and pharmaceuticals and healthcare comes. Suppose there are two doctors, physicians. One doctor is an MBBS, right? And works in a, suppose a government hospital. And the Dr. A. Dr. B is a doctor who is very highly qualified, MRCP, FRCS, and other from Johns Hopkins. You know, by the way, the best university in the world for medicine is Johns Hopkins. So Johns Hopkins University, so they have gone there. Now, I met one of those people when I was in Singapore, National University of Singapore. I was giving my lecture last year. I met one of them, very knowledgeable people. Okay. Now, suppose you are a patient, okay, who is down with, suppose, flu. You have a high fever, you have normal influenza, okay. Now, this person who is a very highly qualified has his or her own chamber. And this guy or doctor who's just an MBBS, but he handles more than 500 patients per day. But he doesn't have a degree from Johns Hopkins. Now the question is, whom will you go to see your disease? Okay. The question is very open and simple, and the answer is very open and simple. I may be tempted to go to the person who has an FRCS, and no, but he's sure there is no patient. But I am maybe tempted to go there, but I will actually go to a person who is well qualified MBBS. I won't say this is bad. Well qualified MBBS, and he has been seeing 500 patients each day. Why? Here artificial intelligence and artificial neural networks comes. How no, we have to find a place where AI will come in. The AI comes in here. Why? Because look here. This artificial neural network, they progressively improve their ability at a particular task by considering examples. We need this kind of a machine intervention where they think like doctors. The doctor who is handling 500 patients is well equipped. He knows what to do than a doctor who is well highly qualified, but the number of patients. So a person who is an MBBS, he's learning each of the examples and learning by example. This is what the artificial neural networks talk about. Here is the place where your AI has come into the healthcare business. I hope you understand this. So AI, I can't borrow AI for something else. No, I have to understand that there is a business known as the healthcare business, and where AI should come. AI should come where there is a decision-making part, where there is a strategy-making part, and where there is a simple way where you can predict something by the examples that you go through. So more number of examples, I'm more qualified. So 10 patients, I'm much qualified. 200 patients, more qualified. So maybe I have a lesser degree, but I am more experienced. I can handle patients more properly. This is the way AI will work. Okay. Now the question is, I am doing AI. The central debate of the introduction of AI to healthcare is perhaps the question that whether the patient will be safe or safer or in real trouble, nobody knows. So there are always contradicting views. There are ethical views, the ethical views that AI. So when I talk about AI into healthcare, I have to understand that there are another view of ethics which says that so this is the second, I have skipped one slide, but AI replacing clinicians is a long way off. So this is said by a doctor himself. So to fully understand how it will help the doctor, it will be complementary to a doctor, that's a very big question that has to be answered. Why we don't know itself in India, AI is very new and we haven't really tested AI. So this is a thing to be understood in the future. Now, so I talked about learning through experience of the doctors, learning through experience of a healthcare business. So that was number one. Number two, there is a flow. There is a flow. How the relationship of doctors and the patients have really changed across the country. So for like if you ask your parents and older people, they would say that doctors. Hello.
You are audible, sir. Please continue, sir.
So my video is getting off.
Yes, sir. Due to
problem here is that okay.
Sir, please continue, sir. Due to connection problem, we keep your video off so that your voice can be good enough. We will again on your video, sir. Please continue.
Okay, fine.
And your slides is absolutely visible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there is a relationship for centuries. I found this whole stage from the literature survey that I did, and I found that the pattern of relationship have definitely changed. In the beginning, people think about one-sided interaction of doctors. Doctors won't listen to you. They will listen to your problem, but no other things. They'll give you orders. So it's a one-sided, one-way flow. So then things have changed. Things have come down to a level now that doctors and the big hospitals like Apollo and Medanta and other hospitals, they give a plan. They give a healthcare plan where doctors giving a holistic approach, and they give an advice, and there's a tailored kind of a healthcare program for you, for the patients. So it's very customized. Now the thing is, the next thing that can happen, that has already happened in the US, is that it has a decision-making system which it is attached to the patient's AI system, and the decision-making system not always needs the doctor. The AI itself handles whatever problems that the doctor can, the patient can feel, or the patient is feeling whatever symptoms of the doctor given platform, and the decision making. Maybe the AI is not taking the decision. The doctor is taking the decision, but the AI is a support system. So nowhere now we have seen that AI is a support system, but in small. I will tell you the cases also. Okay. Now there are applications. I'll tell you all the applications of AI. So applications of AI into healthcare. They have diagnosis and treatment during the diagnosis of a particular your disease or your problem. Your imaging system, the computer vision, how we have the CAT scan and other scanning machines, the workflow, the patient, how the patient moves through. So we see a very systemized. When you see a systemized thing, you see that how things are working, how patients move. So there is no rush. Then this predictive modeling is, this has something new. This talks about the business analytics part. So a lot of statistics is needed to understand where my company, where my business is standing. Then we have virtual assistants that I'll tell you. We have mobile apps. Right? So one of the mobile apps is Government of India has given us is the Arogya Setu app. This is a mobile app. This is a medicinal mobile app. It talks about your safety, your connectivity with the doctor. So they will ask you questions, and you have to answer question, and they tell you, the Arogya Setu app tells you whether you are safe or unsafe. If people have used, this is the application of AI at present, right? So you have other things, precision medicines is there. This is mainly under the domain of biotechnology. Then you have discovery, that's the domain of drug discovery and pharmaceuticals. And we have this cost-benefit ratio. This is what Google is doing and IBM is doing. I'll tell you how, right? So these are the applications. So in India, we are not that acquainted by this, but you'll be surprised to know the companies here are very acquainted. So here, So let's, I've just taken some applications of AI, and then I've tried to, given what kind of things that they have done. So virtual assistants in healthcare. So you have voice assistants, applications like Aragya Setu. They are helping you to constantly to maintain your Bluetooth has to be on. There's a range radius which tells you whether you are safe or not. So these are the applications of AI. Okay. Research and analysis. Yes, you have IBM. They're doing outstanding research in the patent big data. I think you know about big data. Big data is the enormity of data and how the data is to be managed. So nowadays, when a person works on big data, so hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, they have big data regarding the coding. So how they're going to manage that. So AI has come in. My point is here to understand we are not technical people to make a program of AI. As business students, as business social science students, to understand where AI is applied in the healthcare business. So one we have seen voice assistants. Another we have seen as a big data analysis. Then we see life coaching. Sorry. Now you have unique wearable technology. I think many of you have Swatch in your hand, Swatch watches in your hand. They talk about your pulse and your heart rate, and when you walk, and they are AI basically. So we do not, understand, but they are work and they are learning. So they learn by experience. Why? Because when you put a Swatch in your hand, then they will accustom to the way you function, not by another person, right? So that's an AI. Healthcare bots, yes, this is also your the assistants helping you in diagnosis portraying a better picture of visual analysis, definitely, because we cannot see what a human eye can see. So it is maybe imaging, maybe new drug codes that has come out. How can this AI help? Now this is something new, dictation assistance. I found this from MIT. For this seminar, I had gone into MIT websites and seen what they're doing. So the doctor comes here, takes up a patient's name, and they don't have to read the files. Suppose a patient comes for a cure, so they don't have to find the time. Why? Because the AI constantly keeps updating, constantly keeps telling what the patient is about, right? So this is one. Drug creation, definitely. I'll come to this a bit later. Cybersecurity, yes, AI also helps in the way that the hospitals are having a safe security system where there is no kind of a breach of contact, where there is a theft. So AI helps there also. So here, this is almost the same, fraud detection. So there may be fraudulent activities, and how the AI learns and alerts the manager of a corporate that they should be taking care of how the patients are, and how the doctors and how the crew is behaving. And this is the last one, the workflow inefficiencies. So I was talking about the workflow when I'm going to a government hospital. A big queue is there, people are standing out there, and there is a big trouble and all these things. So these are also sorted out by AI. So AI talks about how these things are taken care of, and why? Because these things have never been tried and tested in India. Also, these things have been in a conceptual mode across the world in the Western countries. So whenever we say something about AI, it is always mainly in the theoretical domain. So what I've done now is that I found out, so these are things that they are doing. This is not very important. I found out the companies which have already applied and apply the whole AI concept in different kinds of things. So you talked about robots, and I think Principal Madam talked about the robots, how the robots have been helping. So there's a company. So I picked up various case studies because there are no research papers, there are no actual very pinpointed action of where AI works. All it's in the research domain. So now we are entering into a research domain where things have to be understood with an open mind. So we have this company from Israel. They talk about the visualized, their surgical plans, how the AI and the robotics are helping into this 3D imaging and how they are helping in surgery. So next company, Microsure in Netherlands, they talk about improving the performance of surgical, so how the surgical processes are improved and how they are helpful for the doctors and for the patients. Then we have other companies are basing on cancer treatment with the help of AI tools. So they're talking about how precisely they can treat cancerous tumors. So AI is so important. So AI is like a support system for the doctor. So I won't say that I would leave it to AI, but I would leave it to the conscience of the doctor to use AI. Okay. Now there are other examples. Now I've just gone through the website of MIT USA. Thousands of things they've done. So this surgical thing, they talk about the surgeons and the way they string and the AI goes into the body of the patients and how the research is going on. So everything is going on now. Icarbrox from China. China, by the way, has done a lot of work in AI. So they're using AI and the big data, what I said just now, and to closely monitor the human health of different individual people and how they can predict at various points of time. Now Google has been a pioneer. Google and IBM has always been a pioneer, and they have, like Google here talks about how the doctors will be notified when the patients. This AI has been already there in the manufacturing sector. I know that many of you may know that. If you have, there's a company, most probably it is Volkswagen. They have a car where they have an AI in the car attached. If your car breaks down while going, before breaking down, they will inform the nearest service center that this car might break down. So before that, you will get a call from the service center that, sir, your car is going to be damaged. Please wait, or we are coming, or come to the showroom. So this is what they are talking about the use of AI in manufacturing sector. So here they are also doing, so Google is trying to do the similar way before the things gets bad. So the doctor, the patient, and everybody should know what's going to happen. Now, again, IBM is doing very good work. They have talked about how hospital efficiency is to be, optimized, and how personalized health plans need to be adjusted and provided. Then there are many, H2O. Okay, so there are many, like this California one. They talks about AI in the ICU. Then Prosia, they talk about cancer. Then we have this Washington's, Kensky, they talk about healthcare cost. Tempus, they talk about the generic way where the treatment should be given how the physician should get an insight of the treatments and basic measures to be taken away, and so on and so forth. Even they talk about the how emergency rooms and patient safety. You're waiting in the emergency for your someone has been admitted. So what about your safety? What about the safety of the patient? What about the safety of the crew? The safety of the nurses and doctors? So all this right. Okay. Now there are many other examples. I will not go because it will take some time. So there are also AI which talks about the drug identification, the drug creation, the drug discovery, and certain things. And they talk even about the biotechnological applications of fighting rare diseases. So I read an article in Stanford just 2-3 days back. AI is used in the making of vaccines, when there is mutation, making of vaccines when there is no mutation, but new kind of manifestations has come. So AI is used either in making or during the process or after the process. Now we talk about the sustainability. Now the problem here is that sustainability is basically, so we were talking about the whole process of economic disturbances, the whole process of how AI is really applicable to the business, and how they have really applied AI in different processes. So I can't say that this is the best process. Why? Because AI into healthcare, into business is something very new. And whatever I just discussed here is something very cutting edge research is going on. So now the question is, are we going to do some CSR activities? CSR means corporate social responsibility. So are we responsible? We are not going to leave everything on AI. The doctor will not, sorry, the doctor will not leave everything to AI. There are AI variables which are here. This AI variable, this is a published paper. This is a paper, myself, one professor from IIT Bombay, and this Arjun Malhotra is the co-founder of HCL, distinguished alumnus. So we have thought about a kind of a model that is a sustainable model, which talks about AI into sustainability and how with AI the sustainability can really happen. So this is so sustainability means what? The three bottom lines, triple bottom line: the social factors, the environmental factors, the profitability factors, and these factors need to be having a kind of a relationship with each of the variables, AI variables, like integration of the social variables, like health. My company, my healthcare company will be integrated in such a way that I will give a vaccine which is of a lower cost. Yes or no? So this is the point. So I will give a vaccine of lower cost, more effectiveness. People can buy, people can come back, and there is equality. So these are the factors of AI. These are the factors of AI which are in our article. I will not discuss my article here. So in our article, we have thought that we can map. And if we can map this automatically, this sustainability criteria is taken care by artificial intelligence. Now, this is a paper. This is my last slide. This is a paper that is written by me and other professors. This is in the National Digital Library of India. They have taken it. So this paper I've written on during this COVID lockdown period, and we have identified that AI is needed to understand where it is needed. So here there are two things. One is, this is one. So this is the x-axis is the time, y-axis is the number of infections and death. Now, so this curve is the infection curve. This is the death curve. INV1 means intervention 1. INV2 means intervention 2. So there are two types of intervention. So in our article, we understood there are two types of interventions, and it is 1 and 2. Intervention 1 and 2 can be social, economic, or medical. So I am not going to discuss everything here. But the point here is that intervention 1 is basically for the less developed countries like India, populous countries like India and China and all those, Pakistan and all those countries, where the case of socio-economic awareness is needed. That can reduce the infection curve. And intervention 2 is basically the medical intervention. The Western countries had the medical interventions, had the best of the infrastructure, but the infrastructure has failed because the people were irresponsible. The people did not follow the social distancing, did not follow. So the point here is that AI needs to understand and to check and to intervene into intervention 1 and intervention 2. Because why? Because in all the cases, intervention 2 has failed. The best medical infrastructure across the world was Italy. Italy has failed mercilessly. So why in India? So people can say that we have immunity. That's not acceptable comment. We are, as a community, we are lucky that the COVID have started a bit later in India. We are been aware. We have been socially, like this migrant labor transfer that happened from various states to West Bengal. Now, had it been AI, so this could have been given the home ministry. If they had this, they would have found the right time when there could be a migrant labor mobility, and maybe not that point of time, where they could have been advised by AI that where the lockdown would have been the best. If not, how? So AI. So that's why I've written here frontiers of AI applications. So whenever we do business, whenever we do a research, you have to understand that see, this data we have collected from across the continent, different countries. But what we want as a researcher is let AI do the job. So here we need more research and more work, and that's why sustainability. So to end my lecture, I should tell that sustainability has changed the definition. It is not just the balance of the triple bottom line, that is society and environment and business. It has the fourth pillar, that is the infectious disease management. Why? Because this kind of COVID things will again come. And if we are not prepared, if we are unprepared, then we'll be in a trap. So thank you so much for this nice session. And over to Suripta sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your excellent deliberation. It was totally a research-based presentation, and you have touched upon business, healthcare, artificial intelligence, and sustainability. These 4 points. And sir, I must say that your time management was excellent. And from college, the whole team, we would like to congratulate you for your paper archived in NDLI. Now I would request Sri Dipankar Mondal. Dipankar Mondal is a faculty member of Department of Commerce, to raise few questions, relevant questions towards the research person. Please, Dipankar.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, sir. You are perfectly audible.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sunita Ghosh, sir. Now, I will cordially request on behalf of the entire team of Maharani Kasiswari College, Kolkata, to our today's resource person, Dr. Anupam Ghosh, to enlighten us with your answers. As we have few questions already raised by our participants, so we have limited few questions. So the first question we have with us from Mr. SK. It is only SK. I don't know Mr. or Mrs. If I have done wrong, please forgive me. From SK Das. The question is whether a machine can solve any problem that a human being can solve using intelligence, and how human can ensure that machine behave ethically.
A very interesting question. I would say that here the question that is raised brings us to the domain of business ethics. And definitely, we cannot rely on the machine, because there's someone who has to switch on and switch off that machine. And we need an expert who really tells what is the answer to it. Why? Because when you see, I'm just giving one example. If you go and check your ECG, so you have your ECG machine with it, and ECG machine gives its own answer to it. But why we need a doctor? Because whatever the ECG machine says, maybe they will say it is programmed like AI. It will say that, okay, the person needs a heart surgery. So, but there may be steps before heart surgery. Maybe the doctor will be there and doctor will give some medications and they will treat them. Maybe the surgery might be avoided. So this discreteness of AI is a problem. Definitely, I will agree with the question. It's a good question. So it could be avoided, right? So I would say that yes, human involvement, machine learning and machine prediction is not always which is in synchronization with human expectations.
Thank you, sir.
Next question,
yes,
please.
sir. So we have another question. This is from Shaikh Riaz Ahmed. Question is, how AI is useful for EEE engineering?
Electronics.
Yes, sir, it is written EEE.
Electronics and electrical communications engineering. So electrical and electrical communications. So I may not be the expert in this, but I'm not the expert in answering this question. This is according to the electronics department. But yes, electronics department and AI is everywhere applicable. Whatever gadgets we see here, we see. So that is there. So not a big thing. So I think electronics professor will be the right person to be answering.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I switch to next question, which is related to health. How AI-based healthcare should deal with psychological issues of the patient?
Now, this is a very important question. No one, I think that no one even have tried this thing. This is a very futuristic question. But definitely, I would say that if AI helps in assessing the big data of a particular patient, then AI will definitely able to predict what the patient might think, might feel, might act. So if there's a psychological problem, there is psychological data also. So AI might help the psychiatrist with the data and to give a narration of the thing, and is just a point of advice. So I think AI in psychology is just at a point of advising, but still what I've seen, it is not been applied now. Right.
Okay, sir. The third question is from our beloved Dr. Sudipta Ghosh, sir. What is the role of government to balance supply and demand side?
Just to rectify you, it is not my question. It has been raised by one of our departmental members, Abhishek De.
Okay, sir.
Not my
Sorry,
question.
sir.
It's the question of
Okay.
Abhishek.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. The question is, what is the role of government to balance supply and demand side?
Now, this is a very big question. I think Sudipta sir knows. This is a question of macroeconomics, fiscal policy, and all these things. So yes, demand and supply side, the economics, they need to create a job. They need to create resources. Then they need to create more entrepreneurs so that job creation is there, and there's a whole supply chain is there. The whole flow of money comes to the economy. More investments from outside. So this will create, this will balance the supply and demand side of the whole economy, right?
Thank you, sir. So I know lots of questions are there. I'm limiting. This should be, I think, our last question. Sir, the question is, are there any dangers of AI in the healthcare industry?
See, there is always a danger of
Very
AI.
relevant question.
There is always a danger of AI. That's why in one slide I was saying there's a doctor who have said that AI can't replace a doctor. So AI in health, not only doctors, but in creation of drugs, in creation of bio or genetic sequence, there is a problem. Why? Because at sometimes when AI takes over, then there will be an automatic replication of the whole thing, which will go out of hand. I don't know what has happened in Wuhan. Some say that is the AI has taken over. Maybe the AI has have spread this thing. So nobody knows what has happened. But one thing is very clear. What I've seen many papers across the world, that there has been a definitive use of AI in the Wuhan Institute, and this AI has become mismanaged. So yes, there's definitely a warning that if you are not aware, so you cannot play with fire if you don't know how to handle that, right?
Thank you, sir. We have limited time, so we cannot go to our next question. Sorry, we cannot entertain all the questions. So this is the end of our interactive session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Sudipta, sir. Thank you.
Sir is muted. Hello. Sir is muted.
Sorry, sir. Now, may I request Srimati Orpita Bhaduri Sharnal, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science, Maharani Kasiswari College, to make a brief summary of the session. Over to Orpita, madam.
Thank you, Sudipta. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, Anupam sir, for giving your and enlightening us about application of artificial intelligence.
Audio is not clear. Audio is not clear. The audio is not clear. It may be due to connection problem, because in Kolkata it is heavy raining.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Is it clear now? Hello?
No, not so. Yes, please continue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sir has nicely described the necessity of artificial intelligence and artificial neural network in the pharmaceutical business. Although artificial intelligence and artificial neural network machine learning is a huge technical topic, Sir has nicely bypassed the details of these technical things and has targeted the audience of this commerce webinar. Sir has nicely described hello. Am I audible?
Please continue. Yes.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay. Sir has nicely described the lockdown situation in this COVID environment. Sir has described different kinds of curves. That is, excuse me, W curves, L curves, and has described the hammer and dance curve, and has nicely describe the view about the economic lockdown. That is how to plan. That is how government has planned for this lockdown, such that the pharmaceutical company get time for the preparation of medicine and vaccine. there are some important aspects that has been described, that is in these lockdown periods there are shortage of money, people are losing jobs, there are profit issues, there are no customer in the there are no customer in the shops, and there is a huge downfall in this supply and demand chain. People are working from home, and these things has been focused. Now, now coming to the technical point, that what is artificial intelligence, what is artificial neural network, and what is machine learning. Sir has nicely described his views about the artificial intelligence and artificial neural network and machine learning, and gave us several examples from the pharmaceutical companies, that how the experience, for example, can enhance a machine, and help the machine to take a good decision, and sir has also given some example of sir has also given the implementation of artificial intelligence in the healthcare business, such as the diagnosis of disease in the field of computer vision, like in ECG, EEG, in the mobile app like the Arogya Setu, in the field of biotechnology, in the discovery of new medicine or vaccine, or in the readmission rate in the of the hospital business. Then Sir has given the example of various companies who are using artificial intelligence in their business, like Ecabolics, IBM, H2O, Kensky, Tempus, Bioxcel. Sir has also finally discussed the sustainability of this, and has nicely described some implementations, and sir has nicely described the intervention 1, intervention 2 using some curve. Thank you.
Thank you, Urpita madam. Thank you so much. Now, may I request our principal madam to conclude the session? Madam, please. Madam, are you audible? Madam, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Please conclude the session, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
From Maharani Kasiswari College, on behalf of our college, I must thank Dr. Anupam Ghosh for his one speech that just gave us, the audience, and that a glimpse of a mesmerizing amalgamation between the practical socio-economic needs and the scientific application of artificial intelligence with it, so that he actually explained our economic conditions from before the lockdown period and during the lockdown period, and even now, how the status is growing or falling in depression, how the artificial intelligence can give us a guidance and also observation against any phenomenon, any social, natural, and business field, right? And it can observe very well and maintain the situation during our this COVID-19 and also other diseases over hospitals outside in various regions. Apps can guide what and how careful to also to in pandemic situation. And actually the main what we have learned from is that the artificial intelligence cannot replace all human beings, but a human being.
Hello, madam. Madam, may we continue? There may be a connection problem because now here it is heavy raining and lightning also. So now, thank you, madam, for your concluding session. Now, may I request Sri Tanmoy Sarkar, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce. Hello, ma'am. Hello, madam. Hello.
Hello.
Madam, can we go to next session? Because here it is heavy raining and there is lots of problems regarding connections, internet issues.
Yes, the connection is going on. Yes, yes, it can.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Artificial intelligence, if it is used in any profession, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So may I request Sri Tanmoy Sarkar, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to give a vote of thanks. Please, Tanmoy.
Thank you, Dr. Sudipta Ghosh. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Now is the time for formal vote of thanks. Let me express my sincere gratitude to our resource person, Dr. Anupam Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, Ranchi. Sir has been explaining such a nice way. We all are enriched through his lucid and lovely deliberation on artificial intelligence and healthcare business. Now I want to give a special thanks to our principal ma'am, Dr. Shima Chakraborty. Without her constant support and help, it would not be possible for us to conduct this webinar. I am grateful to our HOD, Department of Commerce, Dr. Sudipta Ghosh, Assistant Professor and convener of the webinar. We are happy to mention our obligation to all the panel of advisors, especially our senior most teacher, Srimati Sunanda Mukherjee, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Economics, as well as Convener, Academic Committee. We are thankful to Seminar Committee, especially Dr. Anindita Ray Chakraborty for her contribution. We are thankful to IQUAC and Research Cell of MKC for allowing us to conduct this webinar. A special thanks to Srimati Orpita Shannal Bhaduri, HOD, Department of Computer Science, and Sri Amit Chaudhuri, Faculty of Computer Science, for their technical support. We are thankful to all the faculties of MKC, especially faculties of Organizing Department. We are thankful to all the office assistants, especially Mr. Pulok Das, Mr. Subroto Kundu, and Mr. Bikram Shetty. We promise never to forget all the participants from different universities and colleges. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your participation. Thank you all. Once again, thank you to Dr. Anupam Ghosh, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Over to Dr. Shubhit Ghosh.
Thank you, Professor Tanmoy Sarkar, for your nice presentation. And I am also very much thankful to our participants, because without the support of participants, our webinar can never be possible. So now I am taking permission from Principal Madam to formally end this one-day national level webinar. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Hello? Yes.
Now
Permission
audible.
granted. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, permission granted.
Okay, madam, and once again, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For the last two hours you are with us, and really we have enlightened a lot. It was totally a research-based presentation.
Sir, I've really learned also from you all, also from madam and everybody. This is a two-way process of learning, and hope we'll be always be in future we'll be connected. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So please, I am requesting technical moderator to close the meeting here, to end the meeting here. Thank you to all.
Thank you.